The clouds of uncertainty seem to have swept over Afghanistan as the United States carried out its first airstrike in 11 days on Taliban fighters in Afghanistan in response to the deadly attacks launched by Taliban on Afghan soldiers across the country. The deadly assaults by Taliban have raised concerns about Afghanistan's future that came just few days after the two sides signed a troop withdrawal agreement on 29th February aimed at ending the 19-year-old war in the country, a report. Not even a week has passed of signing of the historic peace deal between Taliban and United States to end the 19-year-old war. Taliban has resumed attacks on Afghan forces. Recently, the Taliban attacked Afghan security checkpoints in Helmand province and killed several Afghan soldiers on 3rd March, followed by an airstrike by United States in response to these attacks. In a series of tweets, spokesman of the US force in Afghanistan, Colonel Sunny Leggett said that the US conducted an airstrike against Taliban fighters in Helmand province, who were actively attacking Afghan National Security Forces checkpoints, and this was a defensive strike to disrupt the attack. He said that the Taliban conducted 43 attacks on checkpoints in Helmand on March 3rd alone. The revived violent confrontations between Taliban and United States has once again raised concern over the expected peace that was likely to be prevailed after the peace deal signed between the two sides. Political commentators say that leaving Afghanistan in the hands of Taliban may result in more uncertainty than peace and stability for the people of Afghanistan.
A terrorist force which controls 55% of the landmass would like to control 100%. So the first thing which I see erupting there is a civil war in which more people will die. And this is, when America went in, everyone warned America in the beginning that don't leave it behind like the last time. When the Mujahideens were fighting the Soviet invasion, and when the Soviet left, the American left as well. And then these terrorist forces like Taliban and later on Al-Qaeda and whatnot erupted. Today, in order to cater to your own interests, you're leaving Afghanistan again in a chaos with these Taliban forces being weaponized. And the worst part is they are being legitimized by the same people who told the world that these are terrorists.
Post 29th February, Taliban has consistently carried out terror attacks at different provinces across the country. The deadliest of the dozens of assaults so far was on the outskirts of the Kunduz province, where the Taliban's premier unit stormed Afghan army outpost, killing at least 15 Afghan soldiers. Condemning these attacks, the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said that the upsurge in violence in Afghanistan is unacceptable and must cease immediately for the peace process signed last week to move forward.
The signing of the U.S.-Taliban agreement in Doha, together with the realization of the U.S.-Afghan joint declaration in Kabul, laid the groundwork for the road ahead toward a lasting peace in Afghanistan. We know that the road ahead will be difficult. We expected it. We were right. The upsurge in violence in parts of Afghanistan over the last couple days is unacceptable. In no uncertain terms, violence must be reduced immediately for the peace process to move forward.
The United States and the Taliban inked a peace deal in Doha on 29th February that calls for the full withdrawal of American troops from Afghanistan within 14 months, including a Taliban guarantee that Afghan soil will not be used as a launchpad against the US and its allies, the launch of intra-Afghan negotiations by March 10th, and a permanent and comprehensive ceasefire. The deal also promised to release up to 5,000 Taliban prisoners before 10th of March, which is the scheduled date for next round of negotiations between the Taliban and Afghan government. However, Afghan President Ashraf Ghani turned down this demand, saying that it is up to his government to release the prisoners and not the United States, as Ghani's government has no agreement with America in this field. Meanwhile, the US Secretary of State Pompeo said that all sides should stop posturing and prepare for the intra-Afghan negotiations, including practical discussions about prisoner releases.
And while a reduction of violence is paramount, we also continue to press all sides to stop posturing, start a practical discussion about prisoner releases, knuckle down and prepare for the upcoming inter-Afghan negotiations.
The current wave of attacks by the Taliban could be seen as an attempt by the insurgents to pressurize the Afghan government into releasing thousands of their prisoners. While negotiations between the Taliban and Afghan government are seeing much complexity even before its start, the Afghan citizens are hopeful of a constructive outcome if the two sides indulge into extensive talks without foreign intervention and violence.
The Taliban must make peace with the Afghan people. Why are they killing our youth? Why?
I hope for a long-lasting peace in the country. I hope it won't be like the previous truce because I was shot at that time. Why don't the Taliban sit with Muslims, elders, and tell them that they want peace? We are the sons of this country. They are the sons of this country. They should explain their will, that they want peace.
Pakistan's persistent acquiescence to safe havens for the Afghan Taliban and other terror organizations is one of the major causes of instability and violence in Afghanistan. Kabul publicly blames Pakistan for harboring Taliban leaders after they were ousted from power in Afghanistan in 2001 and allowing safe havens for attacks against international and Afghan forces. Experts say that it will be very difficult to assure peace in Afghanistan unless Pakistan will not put a halt on its unambiguous support to terror.
No peace in Afghanistan and no peace in Southeast Asia without Pakistan ensuring that terrorism doesn't transpire from their premises or from Afghanistan.
The war in Afghanistan has been the longest war since the United States toppled Taliban's regime in 2001. The nearly two-decade-long conflict in Afghanistan that began after the September 11th attack killed tens of thousands of people and left millions of people homeless in Afghanistan. Now, this agreement is being viewed as a step to end the insurgency of the Taliban and bring stability in Afghanistan.